to be invited to speak today about something that I'm very passionate about. So I just want to start with a little bit of information about me. I'm here to do a presentation on engineering technology at Bates Technical College at the Advanced Technology Center, which is a gem, and I think it's a best kept secret of Tacoma. So that's why I'm here. But I want to talk a little bit about me before we get started, just so that you know some context about who I am and why this is important to me. I love it. I love it. I attended Bates Technical College in 2013, and I originally came in there with an idea that I wanted to just dip my toe in the world of engineering, right? Like I didn't really know what it was all about. My stepdad was like a plant kind of mechanical engineer, but not by education, just kind of by trade. And so I came in with the lens of trying to, just dip my toe in mechanical engineering technology. Well, for some reason, I got signed up into civil engineering technology because I wanted to wait one quarter before I entered in mechanical engineering. Well, I got into civil engineering without even knowing what it was. And I felt like I stayed connected to that program, saw all the way through with all of its struggles, ups and downs. And I decided to pursue a career and use my education in civil engineering technology to advance my career. And the city of Tacoma, which is here today, serendipitously, I actually joined the city of Tacoma as an engineering technician 1 in environmental services and served there up until recently, June of this year. So that's a little bit about me. I currently work part-time at Bates Technical College as an aerospace program navigator, which is really a fancy way of saying I tell people about engineering technology and the pathways into this career, into this educational path, and what are the career outcomes of this education. So that's really fancy, but.
Where do you work at now?
I do work at the city of Tacoma. I just happened to move from engineering to equity, which is an entirely different story, but good one, but maybe after the presentation. So the Advanced Technology Center houses, and there's 3 campuses at Bates. There's the downtown campus, there is a south campus, and then there's central campus. Central campus is located close to the hilltop, but right up the street on 21st and 21st and right off of Sprague, so super close to Sprague, Central Campus. And it usually, State. It was not coming to me, State Street. And this campus got a reboot several years ago, about 2014, 2015. They broke ground on this Advanced Technology Center. This is actually the center. This is not a picture from the internet of a random building. This is actually the building. It's the newest building that they have now in operation, and it houses currently 3 engineering technology programs, and that is civil engineering technology, mechanical engineering technology, and electrical engineering technology. Civil just recently got an update, and it is currently civil and environmental engineering technology, which is really cool. There is a video in there, but I will spare you the video at this moment just because we want to move. So there are a lot of things when I heard about it that I hear about engineering that are concerning to a lot of people. One, it might be like, engineering's not for me. It's not a good fit. I would invite you to explore a little bit more about that. Why do you feel like it may not be for you? What really is the hindrance? A lot of people think that engineering takes too long to get into the field and actually start making money. A lot of engineers spend 4 to 6 years getting a bachelor's degree before they even enter the workforce. Just hold on to that, because I'll talk to you a little bit more about the options at Bates Technical College. And some people are like, math is too hard. I don't like math. Well, the engineering technology math that you have to take at a technical school is really there to help prepare you for the work that you're going to be doing. And it is not as intensive as if you were going for a 4-year degree. So I'll talk to you a little bit about that math separation. So if it sounds too challenging, I want you to think Bates. And the reason why is because Bates is a really great place to go if you're looking for entry-level employment that you can progress as you get more experience in the workforce, which is different from a 4-year degree where you get the theory of the thing for 4 to 6 years, and then you get the practicum once you get out. So let's just explore a little bit about the programs at Bates Technical College. So like I said, there's civil and environmental engineering, and it really focuses on designs of roads, focuses on infrastructure like bridges. They focus on how you design sewer and wastewater pipes, and how you can build structures for the world around you. So those big structures, they'd like to have this joke that civil engineers build the big things around us, the roads, the bridges, all these different things, and mechanical engineers build the things that help shoot them down. So that's a joke, but so mechanical engineering focuses on design preparation for students, and they work on manufacturing, they work on machinery, all those little small components. Somebody has to design those, right? Those, phones, medical devices. They need some engineering technicians to do the work to prototype some of these things. So that's how that works. And electrical engineering is really focused on design schematics. They do a lot of lighting and a lot of pre-electrical type of work, and it's really hot at Bates Technical College right now. So each of these programs has a link to it, and I would take you to it, but we don't need to go there yet. So I want to talk about the key differences between engineering technology and the word engineering, because people get them confused and they think they're the same thing, but they're overlapping but different. So let's go down the list. The basic difference between engineering technology and engineering is that an engineering technologist or technician is more focused on applied design. Engineers are focused on the theory of the design. So they'll come up with like a theory of this is what I think we should do, and then the engineering technicians or technologists will go and say, okay, let me put it in this design schematic and prototype this, and then this is what I've come up with based on what your theory is. It either does or does not work, or maybe we should make some tweaks. That's how they work together. Engineering technicians are more of the implementers, whereas engineers are more of the innovators. So you can see we need both, right? You can't just have a great idea without it being implemented. You can't implement just trash, right? You got to be good ideas. So we need both. And then engineers are known as engineers, and those that take engineering technology are typically known as engineering technicians or engineering technologists. Also, the education typically, when you are an engineering technician, requires a two-year degree. Some colleges also offer an advanced engineering technology bachelor's degree. That is common, becoming more common. And typical for engineers, it requires a bachelor's degree. And I'm putting the word typical because I'll talk about that, how it's particular to Washington in just a second. So those are two different things. And the time to complete a degree for engineering technology versus engineering is vastly different. Typically for a school like Bates Technical College that offers those three opportunities, the time is 2 years. I say 2 years and it sounds kind of long, but it's actually 18 months because they work through the summer. Some community colleges don't work through the summer. Our technical college does work through the summer. So you can finish your degree in 18 months, which I did, and I was hired at the city of Tacoma before. You know how you have that 2-year mark? I started in September 2013, and my 2-year date would have been September 2015. Well, I was hired and started working at the city of Tacoma in May of 2015. So before my 2 years was up, I was already in the field working, which is very different from what the experience of engineers is. And then also, again, we focus on, in engineering technology, applying current practices to solve technical problems. And then engineers focus on developing new methods of innovating design for complex problems. And the math level typically for engineering technologists or technicians is intermediate. So you're not probably going to be taking, differential equations. You're not going to be taking levels 3, 4, and 5 of calculus. There might be level 1 and level 2 calculus, but you're not going to those deeper depths that engineers do in their 4-year degree programs. But you do have a good, solid foundation to be able to understand and communicate in engineering. So. Anybody have any questions that was unclear before we move on? Sweet. Okay, so this is a slide of work I actually did. So my role in the city of Tacoma was I worked in environmental services, and part of our responsibility is to maintain 3 levels of assets: the facilities, and then stormwater pipes and assets and wastewater pipes and assets. So we usually design and deal with the things, maintenance that nobody cares about, nobody wants to hear about, nobody cares about until it doesn't work, right? So when your toilet flushes and it goes through all those sewer pipes and goes to the central treatment plant and the water gets treated, nobody cares about that kind of stuff, but somebody has to maintain those systems so that we can not care about them, right? So that those are the things underneath the ground that I worked on. So these are a few of designs I was working on at East 46. They are pipes and road grades and different things like that. Those are things that I learned to do while I studied at Bates Technical College, and I just was able to implement these strategies as I learned a little bit more when I got to the city. So this is only one aspect of civil and environmental engineering. I know some civil environmental engineers that are working in power. I know some civil environmental engineers that are designing roads, and I did have to design a few roads in this capacity, of course, because pipes are usually under roads, and you gotta tear up the road in order to put the pipes back. But there are various things that one can do. Some people can design they can help design dams, they can help design bridges, they can help design roads, help design sewer pipes. So there's so much you can do in civil and environmental engineering. That's my experience. So mechanical engineering is slightly different. They don't typically design civil structures, the big things that we see, the buildings and things like that. But there are intricate components that they do design that we do need every single day that we take maybe for granted. Somebody has to come up with the appropriate packaging or medical devices, or they might need to innovate something. If you have you guys seen, or you guys might have heard about the 747, 737, anyway, at Boeing, when they did an update on their airplanes, somebody had to figure out how can we get this old plane into a new update without messing with the integrity of the plane, right? How do we make this work? Well, there are design engineers that figure that out, theory engineers, and then there are people that actually make the prototype and design, and that's where engineering technicians would fit into that work. So for electrical engineers, they're really focused on schematic design. So the theory of electricity, the theory of electrical design. And they are usually found all of our engineering technicians are usually swooped out of school in their 5th and 6th quarter because people are desperate for engineering technicians that understand how to implement design through Revit, through AutoCAD, Civil 3D, through MicroStation, and all of these design platforms. So just as in the other two slides that I showed you, each of the students in the engineering classes learn some form of software, design software, whether it's Revit, like I said, MicroStation, or AutoCAD, Civil 3D, Cadre, some other design stuff. Now, you all may have had that kind of stuff in high school where you might have AutoCAD, 3D Fusion or 300 Fusion or 360 Fusion, I think, and some other things. So there are some bases of understanding that you may have coming into this school, which will help you excel in these programs. But it's all really cool, really different, but they do intersect. So I do want to do a cost salary table, and I'm going to break it down a little slowly, just so that you can kind of see what is different and similar benefits, those kind of differences between engineering and engineering technology. So I'm gonna actually turn around because I can read it a little bit better here. But if you see at the top, it says civil engineering technician, and then underneath it says civil engineer. So the average tuition, and this data was from, I think, 2018, was $15,000 for this degree at Bates Technical College. Whereas on average, and these are averages, the civil engineering degree costs about almost $80,000. The time to complete is between 18 to 24 months, depending on, how many classes you take as far as your program and what other courses you need to take as far as prerequisites and et cetera in civil engineering technology versus 4 to 5 years for a degree in civil engineering. And then look at the median salary. I'd like for you to just think about that for a second. If you are working in the field as a civil engineering technician, like I was, I entered the field in 2 years, right? In those 2 years, a civil engineer was still paying for school. I was making $60,000 a year coming out of school. when they come out of school, they maybe start at 90,000 average, here and there. In Washington, of course, it's growing a little bit higher because we're, high wage state. But if you think about it, our wage difference was about $30,000, maybe $25,000 to $30,000. But I was making $60,000 2 years ahead of some of the people that were studying in engineering. Plus, I had no debt or very little debt compared to someone that might have had to put $80,000 into an engineering degree. Now, this is the clincher that I want, and it's similar for all of the engineering technology courses at Bates. So I want to see at the bottom, the summary is it's 20% of the cost of engineering to go. It's 20% of the cost, 50% less time, and we have 75% of an average median engineer salary when we start on average. That's huge. Now, this is the clincher that people really do not know, and I'm gonna move to the next slide. If you think about it, when an engineer is coming into the building for the first time after they've invested 4 to 5 years, which is it's still noble, it's still good. We still need engineers to do that. I've been in the field for 2.5 years, so they are getting experience from school. I'm getting experience from the workplace. Well, in Washington, and hear me when I say in Washington, you do not have to have an ABET accredited 4-year bachelor's degree in engineering in order to be on the road to become a licensed professional engineer. That is different from like all of the 48 and a half, because someone has a different rule. So we are one of the 50 states that does not require an ABET accredited degree. Now, it's in Washington, I'm gonna say that again. And I just want to share that because I do know a person that is licensed as a professional engineer and a professional land surveyor that has no college education. They took themselves through the self-study, but they had enough experience, combined experience and education, to sit for both exams and pass both exams. So there is another path outside of investing $80,000 to become a professional engineer. Also, some engineers that graduate from a 4-year university do not sit for their professional engineering exam. So some are not able to stamp drawings. Some are not able to solidify, yes, they still need someone to stamp the drawing. So the person that can stamp the drawing is typically the person that is able to progress through leadership, because at the highest level of engineering, you need someone to certify, yes, this is legit. And those are typically licensed professional engineers. I see there's a question.
The thing about the person that doesn't have a 4-year degree, and I love that you stressed about it being only in Washington, because if you leave Washington, you cannot be an engineer. I know I actually had a person I worked with, because I used to work with an engineering group for HR, and his wife moved to Texas, and he could not work as an engineer in Texas because he did not have the 4-year degree.
Yes. So I'm emphasizing Washington specific. But it's good to know. It's really good to know, because then it helps you figure out, like, okay, where should I put my investment? Another thing that I'd like to think about, it's going to go over this hourly wage, and this is just my hourly wage projection, so I can't say this is going to be yours. You're on the right side. So when I first started, I was making like $23 an hour in 2015, and as I moved, the first 3 years I was an engineering technician 1. They offered an engineering tech 2 position, and it went up to about $30 an hour. And then when I became a technician 3, I topped out at $40 an hour, and then I left the field in order to support the city manager in a different capacity in the Office of Equity and Human Rights. But just think about it. Over 5.5 years, I was able to go from $23 an hour to over $40 an hour with an 18-month degree. And it goes silent.
Say that one more time.
I was able to go from $23 an hour to $40 an hour with an 18-month degree. And I just want to say this, that I am not the only person that attended Bates and works for the city of Tacoma and has this story. Now, every story is different. I do know some students that went on to do other things. They design in private sector, they don't work for government, and so things are different. But on average, you're going to see your investment if you take the time to think about a 2-year degree. So I just want to talk about a few things, and I've already alluded to a few opportunities that you can have. After you get your 2-year degree, there's options. You can go and continue on your education. I know some people that after they graduated, they didn't go directly into the field. They said, okay, I'm gonna take this and maybe I'm gonna go get a management degree, which I'm in school for right now, actually. I'm gonna go get a management degree. So maybe I'll be an engineering technician and maybe I wanna grow in management some other kind of way, maybe not engineering, I don't know. But they decided to go and finish their bachelor's degree. You can transfer these credits. There are a few colleges that Bates has agreements with that will take your 2-year credits from a technical school and allow you to just continue on as a junior to complete your degree, which is the program I'm in right now. So I get to keep my technical skills and they value my technical skills, but then they also give me an opportunity to earn my bachelor's degree in management. You can also pursue bachelor's in engineering technology. There's a couple colleges that offer a bachelor's of science in engineering technology, such as Florida State, or I don't think it's Florida State, but Daytona State in Florida, where you can go and continue on your education in engineering technology. Then you can also just go straight into the career field, and you can be a designer, you can be an estimator, you could be a CAD technician, you could be so many different things. There's so many different words and so many different position titles for this type of education. Or you could do both, which is kind of what I'm doing. I pursued a career for 5 to 6 years to get myself stable so that I could afford to pay my bachelor's degree out of pocket and not go into debt. So that's a unique thing. Some people, they don't know what they want to do. If you don't know what you want to do, I will say, do something that's going to help you get stable so that you can start thinking about what is it that you really want to do. I knew engineering technology was probably going to be a gateway for me to something else. I knew it didn't have to be a forever statement. And the thing about it is when people talk about education, they typically think I'm signing up for a lifetime. If I sign up for sociology, I have to be, a sociologist. If I sign up for an engineer, I have to be this forever. You don't have to. But what's so great about an engineering technology degree is you don't overinvest in something that you may not be doing the rest of your life. So that's another aspect. And at the bottom of this, I do talk about how there is a step process for becoming an engineer. There's a fundamentals of engineering exam, where you have to have a combination of 4 years of experience or education, stay right there, 4 years of education or experience, and you can sit for the fundamentals of engineering exam. If you pass the exam, you can be licensed as an engineer in training in Washington. If you sit for 4 more years underneath a professional engineer, you can then sit for your professional engineer exam. And if you pass that, then you can become licensed as an engineer. All those that graduate from college have to sit for these 2 exams. All engineers have to sit for these 2 exams. It just depends on the level of experience and tutelage that you've set under a professional engineer. I mean, they can do it right out of college. If you took a 2-year degree, you'd still have to earn 2 more years of experience before you can apply to take the exam. So that's an option in Washington that you can do. And you already are you guys are already in high school, so I don't want to derail you, but I did want to offer this. Bates Technical College is unique that it has an opportunity for Running Start, where you can, participate in Running Start, but it also has Technical College. Technical College means that you leave your home-based school and you join the high school at Bates. The cool thing, and I don't mean to stay in Sammy, wherever you are, I'm not saying you have to come over here where we are, but the cool thing is, if you go to Technical College, you can enroll as soon as you turn age 16. You're eligible for funding until age 21. So I know someone that came into Technical College, graduated, got 1 degree for, I think it was mechanical engineering, went back and went for electrical engineering. So he's graduating with two different degrees, and it's all paid for through Technical High School. Also, you're eligible for tuition. In Running Start, they pay for tuition, but they don't pay through the summer. Our programs pay through the summer if you go through Technical College, and we pay for supplies, for books, all fees and everything like that are waived. Whereas in Running Start, you pay for the books and the tools and the training materials that you may need. So there are options. If you want to get college paid for in high school, there are options, and I advise you to take a look at it. There's some information I can share with you if you have questions more about that. Here's some enrollment steps. Cool thing about Bates and most of the colleges here is that there is no cost to apply. So I would advise you, if you are curious about one of the programs, go on and apply. It'll put you in a queue, and they'll send you some information in particular to what you're looking for. And then that's financial aid stuff, where I don't really want to talk about that because I'm sure you have counselors and multiple people that can talk to you about that. And I just want to play for you my journey. I had to build a bridge. My first quarter, and it was a disaster. And I cried because I thought I failed, but my teacher said, if you build a bridge and you tried, you're gonna get an A. So I was like, oh, thank God, which is really unique in technical college, that it's not just paper test. It's built to be applied, where you're learning and doing at the same time. So they grade you different. But anyway, I said what I wanted to do is build my next bridge better. And so this bridge competition, this is my second bridge. I don't know if I can do sound because I turned the sound off.
Oh, you did. There's sound on that. It goes through the speakers.
Oh, it does?
Yeah.
Sorry, y'all. Mute yours real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, y'all. Thanks for allowing me to have a little bit of technical difficulties. Can you see? Can you hear? Huh?
Oh, that's what it is. My phone.
Your phone? That's 7.12 pounds. 2.082. Look how young I look. 2.068. 0.092. Why did I do these ones first?
Yeah.
I don't know. You just had them right there.
Well, he didn't think this would hold very much, so.
EJ.
You don't want to start off with a 16 pounder with David.
2.092.
But we do have a 17 pounder.
Okay. So we had to break our bridge. See how much weight it could take. Wait, no, 5 pounds.
Yeah, that's good.
Ready?
5 even?
Yep. I'm sweating already again. Um, 4767.
Turn it down. Is it on the phone?
Yeah.
Just listen to that. And I'll put. If you can send me this book, I'll put that into
514.
the.
It's in the presentation. You just press play.
Oh yeah.
Not even a creek yet.
That's over 15 pounds, right?
503.
Are each of those 5 pounds?
Yeah, those are 5 pounds each. I was afraid to breathe.
Wow.
All right. 526.
Wow.
Yeah. Thanks for.
I thought you were down. I was like, I kept looking like.
I know. I didn't want it to, get in my face and in my eyes. And I was so proud of myself because the first time I went, I did it. I was the only Black female the whole time, and I did want to bring that up because, some part of the reason why a lot of people of color, I think, hesitate to get into this field is because they don't see people like them that are doing this type of work. And so, I was the only woman that graduated in my year, in my quarter, and it was white male, all the way down, and then it was me. And so it was isolating, and I felt like I used to come to school in skirts and shorts, and my teacher at one point was like, we're gonna go out and survey, do you have any regular clothes, like any jeans? So, there was a culture that, that maybe white males were accustomed to that I wasn't, that I had to learn, and I had to push myself to get through it, even if I felt like I was an outcast of the culture. But if they can make $60,000 coming out of a two-year degree school, I can do it. So I had to push myself to think about it differently. So I was more proud of myself because I beat my teacher's bridge and how much weight it holded in that second time around than it did the first time. So, yeah. So, oh, thanks. You are so sweet. So let me know. This is the end of my presentation. I'm here to answer any questions you have. I'm also here if you're deciding or thinking about engineering, technology, or if you're thinking about Bates. I'm also here to answer any other questions you may have. So thanks for listening to my long spiel, and I hope to connect with you all after the presentation. Let me know if you have any questions. And that's it. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Shauna, for sharing. This has been amazing. Let's see, I'm gonna turn this screen around and capture the audience. I want to see. I'm just gonna do some hand raising exercises. So let's see. I think that's everybody in the shot. And change the view. So, does anybody have any questions, first of all, for Rashana? Or anything you can think of right now? Or are you nervous and you don't want to say anything, so you're going to keep your hand down? Oh, okay.
For the running start, which programs specifically are there?
Well, there's 3 campuses, and each campus has their own flair and flavor. So downtown campuses hosts dental assisting, they host LPN nurses, they host barber school. They also have a culinary arts program, business. Down at the South campus, they have auto body, diesel mechanic, auto mechanic, and those type of thing, commercial trucking. At Bates Advanced Technology Center, in addition to engineering, they also have robotics. They also have digital media and broadcasting, which is super cool because they actually have a station on campus. They have information technology and computer systems, so quite a bit. So each campus has their flair.
The last one was the central one?
Yeah, Central Campus, and it's probably the least populated because it's just not really known about what's there. And so it used to be engineering technology used to be housed at downtown. When they did the refresh of the building, everybody moved to Central Campus, and so yeah. Love to give you all.
19th and State,
Yep.
Yeah.
where the old industry used to be. And I really mean used to be because it's torn down now.
And PBS, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Where's the News Tribune at now? Is it still?
I think they sold it, didn't they?
It's been for sale. It didn't get sold, but when they hit their turn, they're tore the building down.
Oh,
Right
okay.
now, so I drive past it whenever I look at it.
Yeah. Did I
Any
answer?
other- Oh,
No, did I answer your question?
any other questions?
This is a question with comments. I just want to say, really nice job on the bridge.
Oh, thank.
I had to do one of those recently too, and it was a complete disaster. So hearing about your redemption arc.
Well, a cool thing about that is we had to design it 3D first in AutoCAD. That was hard because different views and all that kind of stuff. So they were teaching you how to design 3D. And then once you design it 3D, you're like, okay, cool. And he was like, okay, now here's some wood, here's some parameters. And I was like, I the reason why I design in CAD is because I don't do things with my hands. So I was like, what? So I didn't really understand bridge design at all. My first bridge, he was like, I don't think you understood quite. And I was like, I didn't, but so I think the second time around, we had to design it in CAD. We also had to design it in Cadre. So we had to test the points of our bridge to make sure that it would actually hold tension and compression pressure and point load pressure. So it was more intricate than just putting things together and designing it. It was like having to test it in systems, and so it was really, really, really cool. So if you've had that experience, I think I'm not sure if they do it the same way anymore. Now that it's civil and environmental, they might have a different type of project. But that would be added value going into that program. Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna turn it back around and just ask a few questions. We were thinking there might be a few more people that would join over Zoom, but we're pretty much to the point still where it's time to just kind of ask questions and then make our exit, because time does not stop. So raise your hand if you like gummy bears. I'll make the first question easy. Raise your hand if you drink water. Okay. Raise your hand if you felt like today's information was helpful. Raise your hand if you learned something new. Raise your hand if it was a little scary presenting. Raise your hand if you got through your presentation. Raise your hand if you would come back in a year or so and present again. They're like, that's enough. No, that's good. The core goal for this was to give a chance for BIPOC community to share what they've seen and what they think could impact them or know is impacting them. Get a chance to do that in front of professionals and the Zoom audience, and then also get a chance to see opportunities that are out there related to the environment and careers and internships that can give experience and help you all get into those pathways for cash flow development. It's tougher for some groups than others, so we wanted to make sure this was an opportunity for you to see the pathways. So thank you all for coming. We'll spend the rest of this, we'll probably end the Zoom here and spend the rest of the time just talking, and you can speak more with the people from City of Tacoma or with Mrs. Ware from Bates. And I'm sure they'll want to get, if you want to share your contact information so they can tell you how to look at the stuff, all the web links, maybe who to talk to at different places, because that's helpful too sometimes, because you go to the website and you're like,